Hi guys, although it's holiday for ArcoLinux, I do have what ifs all of the time. They never stop. I have this what if. Super F7. It's a question more or less somebody asked online. What if I have a virtual box? I have Windows 10 and I have ArcoLinux, right? These two guys. But I can only fake these things, well, to record it anyway. And the thing is, I'll have settings. Let's go there, that's easier. Storage. I have now one SATA, so one hard disk. And what in real life, I have two hard disks. I have a SDA, where I will put Windows 10. And I have another hard disk, SDP, and I'll put any Linux on there. Can that be done? Okay, so this is the Windows 10 thing. I need to add one more. I'm guessing it's gonna be this one. No, that's a storage controller. Gonna be this one. So I have to fake having an extra one. Where should I do that? Create a virtual hard disk. That looks good. I'm gonna create a new hard disk, dynamically allocated, big enough. Big enough, Eric, you've got enough space. Create. And where is it? Not attached. Is it this one? That's the one we have. That's the one. Probably. Did it make that big? Let's see. Okay. He switched around my Windows 10 thing. That's not what I wanted to do. So you can remove selected controller as SATA. Let's add a new storage controller. No. Remove selected. No. Adds new storage attachment. Yes. Hard disk. This one, choose. All right. Now this one is SATA port 1 and this one is SATA port 0. I like to have it the other way around. Is that possible? To change this to 10, for example. Well, actually this to something bigger and this to something small. Voila. So this one is first to boot from, I guess, right? So SATA port 0 is the Windows 10. I'll install Windows on this one and I'll keep away from it, and I'll install ArcoLinux on this one. 38 GB for Windows, almost completely full. Anyway, so that's the setup, right? That's the what if. What if you have a real machine, real metal machine, and you buy yourself two SSDs or two hard disks or an NVMe and an hard disk and such things, that you say one machine has Windows and never touch anything. It's just Windows on there, on that piece of hardware. I'm not going to use partitions, anything like that. And the other physical hard disk has this. Let's go get Windows. Download Windows 10 image. All right, before you begin, select edition, May, validating your requests, choose one. English is fine for me, confirm, choose one. What's this? Select the product language. Well, English, yeah. Confirm. 64 bits, obviously. And it's a 5.4 GB. So what are we complaining about in Linux, right? 5.4 GB. I'll pause the video here and let it do its thing. Voila, now we walk away from the machine, have a cup of coffee or something, and then we play on. Let's download download. There he is. Just 5.4, right? Just 5.4. Best way to make your system fast again is reinstall it. I'm talking about Windows, of course. Only the keyboard matters to me. That's something I need to get right. Belgium period, I think we need to choose. Next, install now. I don't have a product key. Now you choose. Ooh. At work, we believe we choose the Pro version. There's education, there's the home. Doesn't really matter what we choose. So in VirtualBox. And in an hour or so, it will be deleted. So upgrade, install Windows, and so there's nothing to upgrade, my friend. Custom, install Windows, only advanced. What I do. So that's a good thing, right? We have two physical drives. That's the point of the video. Can we put on here Windows? Can we put on here Linux, or vice versa? But I think most of the people will say, I want to have Windows all the time for gaming, and then learning is the second thing, right? 80% time Windows, maybe 20 on Linux, something like that. I don't know. Thing is, let him do it automatically. So next is good actually. Just next is gonna be an automatic partitioning system. And maybe we should stop the video here again. No need to make this needlessly long. And wait for the guy. Pausing. In the meantime, we're installing the updates, so we're past a few elements here. Restart now. No. Press any key. Let's see if I needed to remove the ISO from VirtualBox or not. I think we're good. It says press any key to start from DVD, and that's what we did not want to do. In the meantime, let's have a look why it's making that noise. Getting ready. I think we better pause because he's getting ready. All right. In the meantime, he's finished and started again. And let's pause again here. I'll just take a moment now. I need to do some work here. Let's start with the region. Is this correct? You all know that's not correct at all. Unless I've moved. And then he makes this mistake, and then we say no, it's gonna be Belgian periods. Yes. Skip. Now important setup will take place. We're in the department of network. Organization, nope, not really. Then let's add your account. You can create an offline account or an online. And when did it start? This pushing to onwards accounts and online accounts, so you could save your backup your profiles and all that, your settings. So, and don't care very much about that. So limited experience. Yes, I'll be happy with my limited experience if I can get past that. Let's try that again. Limited experience. Okay, that's the button. Eric is going to use the guy, create a super memorable password. I just happen to have one in mind. Create security questions. Oh my god. Or even better, use an online account. No. What's the first pet's name? Whatever. And what else? Security questions. What's the name of the city? North City. You get tired of these things, right? The name of the city where your parents met. Childhood nickname. Geek. Next. And then let Microsoft and apps use your location. No. Accept. Find my device. No. You decide yourself what you want to send to Microsoft. In this case, I'm quite it's simple. No for me all the time. Hi, says. Thank you. Go on. Can't push him, right? Don't turn off your PC. Wasn't thinking about it. Alright, let's pause again here a little bit. And then suddenly it hits you, right? There it is. Browse the web with a Microsoft Edge. Maybe later. So we have ourselves a system. Let's go for the disks. Device manager. No, not what I want to do. Not the device manager. The disk management. Voila. Whatever. So this thing is our hardware. Disk 0. Here I want to put my Linux thing. So let's do that in the next. Let's pause here. All right, let's take our next step. Buy Windows. So might be necessary to say I don't do anything in here. Not even if I'm gonna partition this thing again, I let Linux partition everything. Right? I'm not gonna go in here, gonna resize things and gonna shrink the volume and so on and so on. I keep away and let Calamaris take control of this C thing and then put it in 2 or 3 or 4 pieces and install several Linuxes or just one Linux on it. That's not the exercise, right? Here the exercise is to have one physical hard disk with one operating system, which is my advice, you know that. Shutting down. So, nothing to do in Windows. I've got myself a newly built ArcoLinux out. You can build it today. You know this is an ArcoLinux. The truth, you build your own ISO any moment in the year you want and have the latest version. This one is from yesterday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Start. Let's see. Let's boot up. And then you can, that's always interesting and educational as well, you can have a look, right, with gparted and see what's there. It will recognize 2 hard disks, it will recognize Windows, any partitions that are there, and maybe file system well, formats like I don't know, BTRFS, X4, NTFS, it will recognize it. Always a good thing to know the layout of the land, so to speak. Run gparted. That's what I mean, right? This is your hard disk, and this is what Linux did, what Windows did to it. it made 3 partitions. The boot from, the real thing, and just something remnant, something tiny, 508 megabytes. This is the one I'm interested in. This needs to become Linux. For this is still blank. So this is a hard disk that you bought in the shop, put it in your machine, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna be blank. Nobody wrote on it. Now maybe you've noticed that we don't have this button anymore. The button to change to BTRFS, X4, XFCE, JFC, Riser, F2FS, right? It's now inside Calamares. Yay, right? Good. Now let's make all the proper choices. Okay, language, you choose your language. Go through it. What you see is what you get. You don't need to install anything. What you see is what you get. You will get something, right? You'll get XFCE, you get the Linux kernel, you get, otherwise this wouldn't boot. So you don't need to install anything. It's not because you have the freedom that you should use it, right? So first time users, don't install anything of the extra software and see how it goes. And later on you can decide more about drivers, and if that's solved, what drivers you need, then it's knowing all about the software. What do I need as software? Belgian, yes sir. Now this is the trick, right? So select storage device. I've never ever used this because I have always one SSD. I buy a 520 gigabyte or 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte SSD. Who needs another SSD with 2 terabytes already present? So this is just if you want to say this one is Windows, this one needs to become something else. Then you say erase disk, and that's important. Bootloader location. Now there are 2 options. You can put it in here, and the goal is actually never ever touch the hard disk of Windows. Then this needs to be the B. Agreed? If you don't want to mess with the master boot record that's now governed, controlled by Windows, don't install it on SDA. Install it on SDB. What's the result? The result is that you need to tell the system, hey, you gotta boot up with A or B. Because standard is always gonna boot up with A, which is maybe what you want, right? Windows. And for the times you want to play, you go to the BIOS keyboard shortcuts, F2, F8, escape, I don't know, delete, lots of keyboard shortcuts around on different hardware. And select, okay, I want to boot up with hard disk number 2. But then you should be safe, right? I will say should instead of you are safe, right? Because it's still, try it out. Try it out. But the main thing is we don't want to mess with the SDA. So we say that the master boot record goes to SDB. Don't touch A, basically. That's what we're saying here. The rest is just some fun. And as I told you, we can just easily click it here. And this is the newest one, F2FS. You can choose any of those guys with encryption or not encryption. And everything is wrong. Check before you press enter. So I'll better report this to the guys. If you select this, change it, he forgets it. So that's a bug. So I'll show the video to Adrian de Groot from Calamares to tell him that if you change in here, it changes also the setting. It's not kept. So choose whatever you like. Last thing you do is go in here. Okay, stop. Don't touch anything anymore. SDB, F2FS, SDB, check, go. All right, and then if we go for a super simple password. And then we wait. And we'll see what happens in a virtual machine, which is mimicking, of course, the real metal thing. And let's pause here. And let's go. Restart done. What happens then? Now, I better do a Control F, power off the machine, get rid of anything inside. This is the normal machine, port 0, Windows 10, this one is Linux, start. And then we see this. Awesome. That's what I wanted to show you. This is gonna happen on the real metal machine as well. So you go and play your Steam stuff, any game you like. And if you're wondering why the resolution is that bad, I suppose we need to set it somewhere. Display, here he is. Display. And then this, the number. Oh my god, this is bad. Keep changes. I don't know if this is any better, because now I don't have the menu down here. Super I. Remember the keyboard shortcuts. Super I. A bit too big. Anyway, that's not why we're here. Power shut down. I need to be able to mimic what you can do on your system. And there is a keyboard shortcut for it. If I'm fast enough. Whoa, what am I doing? Start. F2. No, F2 was not a button. Jesus. Control F. Power down. Let's have a look. So advanced description, system acceleration, display, VBox SVJ. Maybe that's the reason, one of the reasons this Windows doesn't look good. Storage, audio, network, serial, USB, shared folders, user interface. There is a way to boot up shortcuts, tools, start, remove, settings, somewhere, preferences, input, date, language, display, network. There is a way to get to the boot screen. Where was it in VMware that I saw that? There is a way, I think. So I'm gonna Google and gonna pause the video here. Alright, that was fast. VirtualBox BIOS settings, press F1 at boot time to get the BIOS enable, feature advanced, okay, F1. Unsuccessful. Now right Control R, reboots immediately. F2 it says, didn't it say F2? There is a small line down there. Press F12 to select boot devices. F12, guys. F reboot, F12 is here. There you are. So we have the hard disk 1 and hard disk 2. I want to boot up with 2. I should press probably this then. Oh, look at that, right? Linux did find Windows 10. So the grub actually knows something is on there on SDA 1. That's not the point, right? We want to have an ArcoLinux Linux SDB, and that's it. If you want to remove, this is all normal. That's F2FS, right? we've done something different. Duff. We've done an F2FS rather than an X4. What I wanted to say is, if you want to change this grub thing, then Grub Customizer is the tool, really. So if you don't like Windows to be there at all, boom, remove the thing, right? Poof, save. It's out. It's no longer there. Don't see it anymore. You don't want to mix things up. So restart, let's do that. I'm not touching anything, which means SDA A, and the first SATA is going to be started, so that's this guy. Not going to wait for this. Control R. I'm going to reboot again. F12, F12, F12. I'm taking number 2 and have ArcoLinux without the option for Windows. So just ArcoLinux. And that's, I think, is a smart thing to do. Keeping the two worlds separate, not mixing it in hard disks, but, well, not mixing it in partitions, but having 2 separate hard disks feels to me like a safe way to go. But yeah, there is the knowledge you need there to set calamars the right way. So this is SDA2 for the guy now. SDA-A, sorry, SDA-A, SDA2, and SDB, that's your F2FS, that's your Linux thing. And we have here 10 used, and he has 37.8 used. So that's quite a bit for an operating system in our eyes, in our Linux eyes. But there you go. Hope it helps somebody. I hope it gives you maybe some ideas. Okay, why not indeed plug in an extra hard disk, an extra SSD, an extra maybe NVMe if possible, and not mix things but keeps things separate. So that's Windows thing, you install lots of games, and that's the Linux thing, and you start learning. All right, have fun.